Good morning. Today we are going to explain the role of culture in translation. So, before we are going to deal with what is culture, types of culture, and classification of culture, we must know what is culture. Culture is the way of people or a group of people behave, their belief, their values, their symbols, their morals, without thinking about them. They are passed along by communication from one generation into another generation. So, culture is the way of people believe, the way people dress, the way people think. Culture and translation. Now, we want to ask, sometimes translators ask themselves, do we need culture in translation? Is the culture important when I'm going to translate? Can I translate without any reference to culture? Does culture affect my translation if I'm translate without any reference to culture? Now we are going to answer this question scientifically. According to Nadia, as discussed in Dilsey 1980, in order to translate from one culture into another, one must pay attention. You as translator must not only know a language of that culture, of that society, but also must be familiar with their culture. So when you translate, you must pay attention to culture, customs, civilization, and mores of those who speak it. Also, Nadia emphasizes that translation takes place in the context of the relation between two cultures, two worlds of thoughts and perception. So you as a translator must pay attention to the culture that you are going to translate for it. You are not just translating words and lexes. You are translating culture. Now, what are the strategies used for rendering cultural terms, or sometimes we call it cultural bound terms? So we have various strategies presented by Nadia and Newmark and other authors, but the most famous strategies that used by translator is paraphrase, and sometimes we use borrowing, shifts, transposition, and addition, or couplets, or transference, or sometimes when you didn't find the equivalent word, you can use naturalization or make descriptive equivalents or use synonymy for describing these cultural terms. Newmark presents 5 domains for classifying culture. We have the first one is ecology, which deals with flora, the winds, the hills. This is what is related all to the ecology domain. We call it ecology culture. We have material culture that is related with the food, clothes, houses and towns and means of transportation. We have social culture, which depends on work and leisure. We have organization and customs, activities produced, and concept used in political and administrative region or matters. We have also gesture and habits come within culture. Even when you translate, you must pay attention to the culture, and this is to the gestures, and their habits, and this is especially important when translating films and movies. Culture play a very important role. Thank you for your listening.